this computer. Okay, we're recording. Share screen. All right, here we go.
Okay, so the title of our project is The Positive Effects of Plant Views. Okay, the environmental issue/problem. So my group and I decided to do some research and came upon an agreement that today's urbanized way of living means people spend upwards of 80% of their time in indoor settings. Some people are even getting what's called building sickness, which results in off-gassing materials and recycled air. The importance of the problem is that humans are adventurous and aren't meant to be separated from nature. Nature has healing and restorative effects on humans, both psychologically and physically. Not having the proper interaction can cause the body to develop long-term issues. Outcomes of these problems can result in higher stress level, tension and high blood pressure, lower attention span on students that are in classrooms without windows or plants, lower satisfaction at work, school, and home, which will result in students not making grades effectively, and higher air impurities, students that do not take part in fresh air. Solutions and outcomes elsewhere. An example would be classrooms with windows and natural lighting. That would be a clear view of green space and plants. Plants will be tested within the classroom to ensure that it's safety for students and staff, to ensure that the plants are not okay for allergies. A 40-second micro view of plants outside of a classroom window resulted in an increase in attention span among students.
For our proposed plan, for our control variables for our plan, we want to make sure that we have an environment and our classroom is going to be set up the same way. Our class will be taught at the same time and on the same day in the same buildings. Teachers are going to be the same gender and present the same information on specific days for class. The students are going to take pre and post are the same. We're going to have the same species of plants in the classrooms purchased from the same place. And it's going to be the same place, same cost, everything. And for our dependent variable, the effects of plants on students' ability to learn and improve test scores in a classroom setting is what we're going to be measuring. Our independent variable is going to be the students. And our rationale behind our experiment is to understand how the effects of plants benefit human beings, specifically students, in order to propose a need for a presence of more plants and nature on campus at Georgia Southern University. For our plan, our step-by-step plan is, step 1, we're going to randomly select 30 students and have them take our pre-exam in the classroom before we add our plants and before they learn any of our information. And then step 2 is going to be, throughout the semester, we will have 15 students learn in a classroom with visible plants and nature around them. And we're going to do this by having plants in the classroom and windows. The blinds of the windows are always going to be open. And then the other 15 students will learn in another classroom, but this classroom will have no visible plants or nature around. And we will teach the students in these environments, maintaining all of our controlled variables for entire semester. And then in step 3, all our students will take our post-exam in their designated classroom. And then step 4, we will calculate all our exam scores and compare the improvement in scores for each classroom setting. And then we propose the question, did the visibility of plants and nature affect how students learned and comprehended the information taught to them? And our expected outcomes of our plan is that if our solution is successful, we should expect that the students who were taught in the presence of plants and nature will receive higher test scores than those who were not. And we may also expect that students who were taught in the presence of plants and nature may be more energetic, enthusiastic about learning than those who were not. And I have some photos here. So on the left is a flow chart from our action plan. And at the very top, you can see we have our 30 students and them all taking the pre-exam. And then it goes down, you can see we have the sample size of 15 on each, one classroom with plants, one classroom with no plants. In the middle, we have our controlled variables for both classrooms. The one thing we did take out from our action plan was the same teacher. We removed that aspect and we said same gender and that the teachers will teach the same information. And then you can see they teach for a semester. And then at the very end of our flowchart, they all take a post-exam and then we compare the scores. And then on the right, I also added a picture that I found that just shows what indoors and classrooms, like the benefits of plants. So it says that it can help you be smarter, healthier, calm, and happier in a classroom setting if you add plants in. And then I just have pictures of students interacting with plants and how plants can be added into classrooms.
Okay, so for the practicality and sustainability of our plan, the plan is not difficult to implement, but it would require the university to have a budget for the purchase of the plants and the materials, the plant pots, soil, and then also workers to help with the upkeep. So, because plants need water, repotted, fertilizing, and pruned, and this could possibly be accomplished by a team of volunteers in the biology department, like students, maybe the Tri Beta Club, the biology club. Some weaknesses to our plan. Obviously, number one, if we don't have people responsible for the upkeep, then the plants are going to die. So that's why we suggested workers or volunteers. And then as well, if someone has an allergy to any of the plants, therefore we need non-flowering plants to diminish the possibility of pollen allergies among the people so that the plants can be beneficial instead of harmful. And as far as implications to the community, how would we implement our plan? We can implement it by making sure that students in classrooms on campus at Georgia Southern have access to green views, either through windows in exterior classrooms or by placing plants within interior windowless classrooms. And also, how does our plan increase public awareness? We could increase public awareness of the effects of plants from the use of plants by collaborating with Georgia Southern University clubs, administration, and Greek life. We could also have a booth at the rotunda to make students aware of our plan and its predicted benefits every so often during each semester so that we can recruit volunteers if needed and things like that to help take care of the plants. Research. In order to see if examples of similar studies were undertaken by researchers, we searched for scholarly and scientific articles under a few keywords or phrases. For example, the effects of plants in classrooms, especially university classrooms, the effects of plants in offices and on stress, the effects of plants on student performance or on attention span. And we chose articles that could help support our topic, which was originally based on studies showing an increased attention span in the presence of plants in offices and classrooms. The first one that we found was about the impact of interior plants in university classrooms. And the main research question was, what is the impact of interior plants in university classrooms on student performance and on student perceptions of the course and the instructor? So they took it in a slightly different direction, but it was very relevant to our study because it was actually done on the impact of interior plants in a university classroom setting. And ours is on overall in performance. So this study used a similar environment, and that was why it was relevant to us. And the citation is below. And then reference 2 was about 40-second green roof views and how they can sustain attention. The main research question of this article was, based on attention restoration theory, would micro breaks viewing a scene with a flowering meadow green roof boost sustained attention among university students over that of a concrete roof? The study was relevant to our experiment because our project is to study the impact of plants in university classrooms on overall performance, and this study looked at the psychological effects of plants on attention span. We want to see if this effect would help improve students' grades. If they have better attention span, maybe that will help them pay attention to the lectures and take better notes and things like that. And the citation for that is below.
And that concludes our presentation on plants in classrooms and the benefits of them. And thanks for listening.